Hello, happy Tuesday. I wanted to do a video today on my favorite subject, attachment theory, but specifically some misconceptions that I hear about attachment theory because I hear a lot of them. This is my favorite subject. It's what I focus on with clients because I think it is so key and important to our deeper healing. So let's start with what attachment theory is. Attachment theory states that the way we attach to our caregivers in childhood will reflect the way that we attach to our relationships in adulthood. Pretty important. There are 4 attachment styles: anxious, avoidant, or fearful avoidant, and secure. So the first kind of misconception I want to talk about is people confusing what their attachment style is. I have many people that come to me and say, I'm anxious avoidant. I'm both. And they aren't. So something to know is, as humans, we are going to experience the full spectrum of human emotion. I really believe that we are in this human form to feel our way through these experiences, but we can't base a lot of things on our feelings because they're cyclical and they'll always come back around. So as humans, we will feel anxiety. Kind of everyone will at some point or another. So my avoidant clients will often think that they are anxious avoidant or that they're more anxious because they have experienced anxiety or because they get anxiety or they get nerves. That is normal. You will feel emotion, right? And you will feel anxiety. That doesn't make you an anxious attachment. The way that we really want to look at our attachment style is that the way we are consistently showing up in action and kind of presenting in relationships. That will tell you so much more. So someone who has a true fearful avoidant, anxious avoidant attachment, first of all, that comes from abuse and neglect, and more severely in most cases. So it's a little bit more of a big trauma background, and that presents in adulthood as an inability to regulate emotions, can be very aggressive, anger, dissociative. It shows up a little bit more chaotically than the other attachment styles. Not to say that you can't work through that. You absolutely can. And it can also show up in various degrees. Someone who is more avoidant and is feeling anxious, more than likely, won't show that to the other person, right, in a relationship. But someone who's anxious definitely will. So people who are anxious can also avoid various things in their life. Like, I come from more of an anxious attachment and I can avoid things, right? That doesn't mean that I have avoidant attachment. It just means there is a spectrum for attachment styles. There is not fixed. It's not black or white. It's gray, right? So you can have more of an anxious attachment style and still have things you avoid. You can be more avoidant and still find that you feel anxiety. So we don't want to base it on our feelings. We really want to base it on the way that we are presenting to relationships with consistency, right? And then of course, the work that we're doing is to become more earn secure, which is what I work with clients on. And the next misconception that I hear is you can't be in a relationship with someone who has an avoidant attachment. Not true at all. Actually, most of my avoidant clients who come to me are in a relationship. They are just working through some particular thing. And a lot of it is they feel unable to show up as deeply as they want to in the relationship. And that is because in their childhood, intimacy was unsafe, intimacy was stressful, or any stress makes them retreat, right, and pull back. So they're unable to kind of open up before they really have that availability as we start to work through it. So you can absolutely be in a relationship with an avoidant. It doesn't mean that they are as emotionally unavailable as some people can be with avoidant attachment, right? It's really a case-by-case basis. And anxious and avoidance, yes, they're going to attract one another. But if both people are aware and doing the work and showing up for each other as much as they can and recognizing where they can't and doing work around that, that is all we need, right? So if someone has more of a avoidant attachment style, it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to run away. No, it just means they need to be aware and do the work just like we do, right? The other person does. Another misconception that I hear is that anxious attachments are needy. There is no such thing as needy. We all have emotional and relationship needs, right? There is no such thing as needy. We all got needs. We have various needs. We have different needs, but we all have them. So an anxious attachment was told that they had too much or too many needs because their caretakers were unable to meet them. So they carry that myth that they're too much into adulthood, but that is not true. We all have needs. So the next time, if you ever catch yourself really being like, that person is too needy, that's something to check in, and maybe some boundaries need to be set. If someone has told you that you are too needy, you're probably dealing with someone who can't meet you where you need to, and that's something to look at. It's also an indication, right? We need to meet our own needs first, and then we can have sort of relationship needs on top of that. But we want to make sure we are filling our own cup, and we are making sure our fulfillment and happiness, right, is resting in our hands where it belongs, right? That belongs to us. And the last myth that I want to kind of debunk is that if you have one attachment style, you can't change. Or if you've been working on it for a while and you're not seeing any progress, that it won't change. Absolutely not true. Our brains are plastic, so they are able to change. That's what this work is all about. It does take time. It does take dedication. It usually takes running into the fire. But I have seen myself, I have seen friends doing this work. I have seen many clients work from more of an anxious or more avoidant attachment and get closer and closer to that earned secure state. So if you are in that place where you're kind of recognizing your attachment style, you can get to a more secure place. Absolutely, 100%. It just takes time, it just takes work, it just takes dedication, but it is absolutely 100% possible. And of course, if you need help in that arena, I'm happy to help. That's what I do with clients. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if there's any other myths or things about attachment theory you want me to go over. Okay, have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye.